Well, I think it's safe to say he did it again. Um, a very good story. Interesting way of telling it. It does lead you on several paths to, trick you so you're not, guessing the story right out. I don't know if it hit me quite as hard as the first one. That might be a little bit because I kind of knew what to expect going into this a little more. It could be because sometimes when I do a second run of something, it hits me harder. You can look at the Undertale run for that. I'm still kind of disappointed the last 2 videos are deleted from an error on Twitch's part. But even so, there was some really good story to this. I really did enjoy this. The last one had a lot more kind of things that I caught on to, but again, it could be that I had already seen it, so I had more time to look for kind of the stuff in the background, like my book report I did on Emperor's New Clothes. This might be one that when I rewatch to kind of test the levels and make sure everything did as well as I can't really change it, but I usually go back and I rewatch, kind of make sure everything sounds alright. Maybe I'll pick something up on the second run that I didn't see the first time. But that said, it was very good. After seeing some of the stuff that it talks about in this, I will probably try and do a bird story. If not today, at least while I'm on my holiday break here for the next 5 days. So, where are you? At my Scotch drinking home? Or at my Scotch drinking home. You said you'd be here. I said I'd visit like we always do, not attend the funeral. When's the last time we even did that? I know, but I just thought we owe it to him after. Dr. Elsling, we're about to start. Go on, I'll get my turn. Alright, enjoy your scotch. You know it. Now, where were we? Hi, Roxy. Oh, not looking sketchy at all, Neil. I asked you to knock, not hack my lock. Switching to digital was a terrible idea. Why didn't you just keep both locks on? Dagnabbit, Rob, I don't know why she even got you involved. Look, we don't have long. Are you guys still in or not? You betcha. So, is that the solution you were talking about? Yeah, that's her. So he's gonna write her into the code. Alright, so I need to go back and do a bird story. On the bright side, doing these out of order, a bird story isn't necessary to understand this story. A bird story is a very different experience, and it will basically take place when he's a kid, kind of in the interim between when he's very little and when he meets Faye, I would suppose. You'll see it. I don't want to spoil anything because there's a very interesting mechanic to storytelling involved. But that said, look forward to that sometime soon. I might be on later today. Need to depressurize a little bit. It was very good. The ending's a little more abrupt than the first one, which makes sense, I guess, since that's kind of what happens, is that kind of life interferes with their chance to finish. And that's kind of the story being told. It didn't go down the routes that I was expecting, as I said. I thought for sure it would have something to do with Alzheimer's, which there may still have been early onset, is what they were implying at one point, but that could have just been a red herring, and completely fairly so. I even suspected it before they mentioned it, so I guess it was a nod that they might have been doing to try and derail people who are trying to think too much into it like me. I'm good at thinking too much into stuff. I did like where it went. I feel like I get a little bit of what Paste was saying, like I said, with the "but thou must" and the kind of linear mandatory pathways. But I also feel like, since this is basically a visual novel written in RPG Maker, I don't know that it's necessary for it to, like, deviate from the straight path. I feel like you could have alternate paths in a game like this if you tried hard enough. You'd have to kind of take the Undertale route, I would imagine, the kind of, you're deliberately going out of your way to do it wrong, and it's, I mean, in a game like this, it would probably have to be non-canon, which in and of itself might be a part of why it's questioned, because I feel like with the kind of stories this is trying to tell, having alternate story paths would be kind of, I don't know how well it would work. It would be possible. There is always the universal what-ifs that could happen with a story. You could have ones where maybe they do find out that Faye is kind of an escape of sorts, but they don't trust her to be the path that's taken. Where they try to write it on their own and they have kind of regrets or doubts as to whether they did the right thing. Things like that. I do think it's possible you could take a path like that. I don't know that it needs it. I don't know that it's necessary. I don't know that you need kind of alternate paths with a game of this sort. But I do see why someone would criticize that in a day and age where we have so many kind of deviating storylines, deviating paths. I feel like it's possible. I just don't know how necessary, or if it would muddy the waters to what is a pretty good story. A game like this is sitting right on that cusp of basically being storytelling and being a game. It's not one where there is a whole lot of high-tier alternates. You can get the alternate dialogue, which sometimes is kind of fun, and I think it gives a little bit of that free reign. I feel like maybe one thing that could be done is where you can pick throughout the entire thing who is in charge at each event. Maybe have, like, so, like, you could have Neil in charge the whole time, and every time that he goes and does the things, after he kind of shows his immaturity again, he's still doing the Hadoken crap when he's doing the shield breaking. Or have the ones where it's more Rosalind, where it's more logical focused until you kind of get through her emotional barrier, because it always does come to, even though Rosalind is very strict and by the book when she tries to be and things like that, she always has this kind of, the patients are more important than the contract approach. They both kind of do, but I feel like their paths are different. I feel like you could have more of the kind of witty and snarky dialogue that way, because you could have both persons' reactions to stuff. Another thing I feel like they could do in additional games is have kind of where they're trying to figure out what to do, interacting more with the other people in their lives, the family, if there was a friend involved, things like that. Have them give speculations to kind of make you consider the story that you could totally skip if you wanted, but might inform events farther down the line, or might make it so that, you know, you're kind of possibly drawing different red herrings, but other things that might be useful or valuable information. And then when you take it into their individual first-person context inside the kind of mental explorations, I feel like you could do a kind of what is right, what is wrong, what is interpreted in what ways, whether, you know, a thing that maybe their friend says, I really regretted at that time that this happened, but in their mind, you know, it's like, well, maybe that was good in the end. Things like that. I do feel like those are possible paths that could be taken, things to look forward to in the future. There were a couple typos in this. I did point them out as I saw them. So maybe there will be an update not too long from now that fixes some of those. They were mostly early. I don't know if it's just because as I got deeper and deeper into the story, I wasn't focusing so much on the grammatical details, which is something I do with stories as well, where when I read letter by letter, so I see a lot more grammatical details just naturally. So there are some things to tweak and to fix from here, but overall I really did enjoy it. It does feel like a genuine sequel. It does feel like it stays in the same tone, even though it plays a little bit into that kind of like Mad Father vibe with the kind of creepy there for a little while. But it stays on its path of being more heartfelt instead of just going into tragic horror kind of focus, which is good because I do not like Mad Father. I've seen a couple playthroughs, the story is telling, I just don't feel like it works to me. It might be a valid path to take with the story, it did not work for me at all. I'm much more into a game like this that's more heartfelt, more like charming, and, you know, the tearjerkers, as it were. So those are my basic thoughts. I definitely was very satisfied. I was very happy with how this came out. I really can't wait for more. And like I was saying, I will definitely be doing a bird story soon. Time got away from me, and I didn't realize this was coming out since the last I saw it said something like 2018, and then it came out around Christmas. So as soon as I saw it was available, of course, I bought it, and I wanted to play it as soon as I could, because that's the first part I don't know. This is the first thing that will be purely blind that would be in this series for me, and so I'm pretty happy with it. I will be cutting the video here, taking a little bit of a break, and if I come back tonight, I will probably be doing a bird story. If it is tomorrow that I see you guys next, Shin should be over. I've heard that he should be over. If so, then we will go with that, whatever we're doing then, and I will do a bird story on a different day. I have 5 more days off, and so I will try to get it in there at some point. Obviously on Christmas Day there's going to be holiday things going on, but that should only be the morning. I'll probably spend some time with my family. I typically do anyway, but I'll probably spend some time with my family extra on a day like that. Just, you know, the tone of the day and getting to spend time with family is kind of what it's about. You do it too. You do it too. With the tones that are, you know, expected with that day. You know, spending time with your family. Go do it. Spend Christmas with your family. This video is not even going to be out by Christmas. But that said, I will be on further this weekend for sure. There's definitely at least one more game, like I said, bird story that I want to do on my own. I might also try to do Rakuen, and I might see if I want to do one of the other Freebird games while I'm off. I don't know if I will get to the other Freebird games. There's 2 more, I think, that I haven't done, that were the free to download ones before they released To the Moon. And we'll see we'll see what happens. I'm not making promises, I'll put it that way. But that said, I had not streamed the last couple days. I hope people checked out the Speed Gamers. I've been linking it a couple times in the chat. They didn't do as well as they have in the past. Their previous goals have been around 8 grand, and they've hit, I think last year they hit 9. This year they only hit 6,500. But you will see an interesting surprise sometime after the holidays, probably, relating to the marathon and here, which will be cool. But aside from that, their next marathon will be in March, so there will be a time where I might be off, but I will probably not be streaming because I want people to go watch that instead. And then there will also be AGDQ in January, and I might not stream during that time. I don't know so much. I will probably do the go watch that instead. This will be up on YouTube later, alert like I've done in the past. But I will have possibly times where I may not be streaming. And to my viewers, if you guys are looking for streams when those are going on, feel free to drop by, because I will be there probably if I am not streaming. I'll probably be in the chat at those events or home. Somewhere home. But that said, it's getting close to the hour mark, which will make it easier to cut the video. Part of why I was rambling, part because there are updates that needed to be done since I haven't been on in a couple days. But that's where we are at the moment. So with that said, I am going to close the game now, get rid of the pretty music. And with that, thank you guys for watching. Have a good day, night, afternoon, morning, whatever it is where you are. I hope to see you again real soon, and take care.